Tiffany Henyard, the self-proclaimed supermayor, is now at the center of a political firestorm that has drawn national attention. The unfolding saga is marked by accusations of unpaid rent, misuse of taxpayer money, and the looming possibility of legal consequences. What was once routine governance in the village of Dolton has turned into a spectacle, with township meetings dominated by Henyard's personal drama rather than any productive discussion. As tensions rise across Illinois politics, the contrast between showmanship and accountability becomes ever more glaring, and residents are left questioning the future of their community. The situation has become so severe that the state comptroller has officially suspended payments to the village of Dolton, citing its failure to comply with state financial laws. Henyard, who was elected mayor in 2021, has since become one of the most polarizing figures in local politics. She faces mounting allegations, including excessive and inappropriate spending of taxpayer dollars and allegedly using law enforcement officers for her own personal security. Making matters worse, Henyard is currently facing eviction from her home due to non-payment of rent. Despite earning nearly $300,000 annually as both mayor and township supervisor, Henyard and her boyfriend Kamal Woods have reportedly not paid rent since August. Their landlord Janetta Hall has filed for eviction after several months of being ignored. Hall claims they even changed the locks and garage code to keep her out of the property. As she struggles with potential foreclosure herself, Hall says this is no longer about money, but about disrespect and injustice. Meanwhile, township trustees and local citizens continue to demand accountability. They accuse Henyard of a long list of unethical practices, including falsifying checks, hiding financial documents, and failing to properly manage township funds. In one Facebook live stream that lasted nearly 90 minutes, Henyard announced she was seeking the arrests of her political rivals, though she offered no legal basis or evidence for such dramatic claims. The feud between Henyard and the trustees has reached a boiling point, with both sides lobbing accusations of corruption and misconduct. Trustees have now filed a lawsuit against her, hoping to rein in what they describe as an out-of-control administration. Henyard, however, seems to thrive on the controversy, making bold statements and taking to social media as if acting in a reality television series instead of leading a community. Adding further fuel to the fire is a federal investigation into Henyard's spending. Reports have shown she spent tens of thousands of dollars on first-class flights, luxury hotels, and upscale restaurants in cities like New York and Atlanta, all on the public dime. One particularly shocking revelation uncovered that she spent over $43,000 on Amazon in a single day, raising serious questions about where and how taxpayer funds are being used. Former Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot was appointed to investigate the financial situation in Dolton, and the results were stunning. Under Henyard's leadership, the town's general fund balance fell from over $560 million in 2022 to a deficit of more than $365 million by May of 2024. This staggering $9 million drop has left local businesses unpaid and essential services disrupted. In one alarming case, nearly 600 checks totaling more than $6 million were printed but never mailed, leaving vendors in limbo and critical functions unfunded. Despite all this, Henyard continues to deny any wrongdoing. In social media posts, she accuses her critics of being jealous and suggests they are trying to distract the public from their own alleged misdeeds. She portrays herself as a victim of a grand conspiracy, refusing to take any responsibility for the financial disaster unfolding under her leadership. Residents, meanwhile, are growing increasingly frustrated. Dolton is grappling with real problems, including broken water mains, unpaid city contracts, and an overworked police department, some of whom have been reassigned to act as Henyard's personal security detail. Her continued insistence that her lavish spending somehow benefits the community has left many in disbelief. An investigation also revealed that Dolton's village credit cards were used for expensive purchases, including luxury furniture and trips to Las Vegas. Henyard's face appears across the village on billboards, promoting herself, giving the impression that she sees Dolton as her own personal domain. In one extreme example, she spent $85,000 on a party that featured rapper Jay Holiday and singer K. Michelle, while the village's finances were collapsing. Township meetings under Henyard have become chaotic and dysfunctional. At a recent meeting intended to address urgent township business, Henyard clashed repeatedly with the trustees. She refused to allow Trustee Carroro to attend remotely despite valid safety concerns. Her dismissive and authoritarian behavior disrupted the meeting, and when it came time to approve the minutes, she tried to force the process through without proper discussion. She even seconded her own motion when no one else would, something that clearly violates basic parliamentary procedures. As the meeting spiraled out of control, Trustee Chris Gonzalez walked out in frustration. Rather than take responsibility, Henyard twisted the narrative, claiming Gonzalez had neglected his duties and abandoned the meeting. Her version of events left out the fact that it was her own behavior that had derailed the session in the first place. Public sentiment continues to shift against Henyard. Many residents believe she is more concerned with maintaining power and defending her public image than addressing the community's real needs. Despite all the controversy, she recently announced on Facebook that she will seek re-election as mayor of Dolton, showing little regard for the chaos that has surrounded her term. Her political opponents are preparing to challenge her in the upcoming election. Among them is Jason House, a well-respected figure in the community who many believe can restore order and trust to Dolton's government. With federal investigations ongoing and public frustration reaching new heights, the question remains whether Henyard can survive another election cycle. Her rise to power was swift, but if she falls, it may be even more dramatic. The people of Dolton deserve leadership that puts their interests first, and many now wonder how they ended up with a mayor more focused on headlines than results. As the election approaches, the community will have its chance to decide whether to continue down the current path or choose a new direction. As the scandals surrounding Tiffany Henyard continue to pile up, what was once a story about a controversial mayor has transformed into a cautionary tale of what can happen when power is concentrated in the hands of one individual with little oversight. The village of Dolton, modest suburban town, has been dragged into national headlines for all the wrong reasons. What should have been a term of steady leadership and civic improvement has instead turned into a drama that feels more like political theater than public service. Henyard's self-promotion has become one of the most glaring aspects of her administration. Her face appears across town on bus stops, billboards, and social media ads promoting events and so-called community initiatives. Many residents see these efforts as a taxpayer-funded publicity campaign rather than meaningful civic outreach. Critics argue that the mayor is more focused on boosting her personal brand than solving Dolton's urgent problems. While infrastructure crumbles, water systems age, and public safety falters, Henyard continues to host flashy events and Facebook live streams where she accuses her detractors of being liars and conspirators. The mayor's social media presence, once a tool for connecting with constituents, has become a platform for self-aggrandizement and deflection. In place of transparency, Henyard offers cryptic rants, emotional appeals, and vague promises of revealing the truth. She paints herself as a victim of a witch hunt rather than an elected official held to standard scrutiny. Meanwhile, her critics, including elected officials, journalists, and concerned citizens, are portrayed as jealous troublemakers trying to sabotage her success. The dysfunction in Dolton is not limited to finances or flashy appearances. Reports from inside the village government suggest a deeply toxic work environment. Staffers describe feeling pressured to comply with questionable directives and fear retaliation for speaking out. Allegations of favoritism, intimidation, and the misuse of municipal resources have created a culture of fear and silence. Former employees have reportedly left their positions due to ethical concerns or professional burnout, further undermining the village's ability to function. The most damning aspect of Henyard's tenure, however, is the growing evidence of financial mismanagement on a massive scale. Independent audits and media investigations have painted a picture of reckless spending and a lack of basic financial controls. Items that should be routine, like payroll vendor payments and budget updates, are clouded in confusion and secrecy. The $6 million in printed but unsent checks is just one example of how operational failures are now harming real people. Local businesses that rely on village contracts have gone unpaid for months, forcing some to lay off workers or shut their doors entirely. Even as the pressure mounts, Henyard shows no signs of backing down. Her recent re-election announcement was delivered with the same bravado that has defined her public persona. There was no acknowledgement of the crises surrounding her administration, only a call for supporters to rally behind her and a vague promise of more progress to come. But for many in Dolton, that progress remains invisible, buried under a growing mountain of scandals and financial woes. Residents are now left asking a hard question: how did we get here? The answer lies in a dangerous mix of unchecked ambition, lack of oversight, and the erosion of trust between elected officials and the public. Henyard's story is not just about one mayor, it is a reflection of what can go wrong when democratic institutions are neglected and personal ambition overrides community needs. As investigations continue and the next election draws closer, Dolton stands at a crossroads. Will the community continue to tolerate mismanagement and chaos, or will it demand new leadership that values transparency, service, and responsibility? The outcome of this saga will shape not just the future of Dolton, but may serve as a warning to other towns and cities across the country. One thing is certain: Tiffany Henyard's story is far from over. Whether she remains in office or is voted out, her time as mayor will be remembered not for progress or reform, but for controversy, excess, and the glaring absence of accountability. The people of Dolton deserve better. Now, they must decide whether they are ready to take their power back.